Wow, I can't believe it's already been more than 3 weeks since I posted my part 1 video discussing my Lithuanian language journey. I guess we're due for an update, aren't we? Well, I booked a total of 5 one-on-one lessons with Antanas, and at the time of writing this script, I've just finished that 5th and final session. Here are some of my reflections and realizations over the past few weeks of lessons. Number 1. Motivation continues to be the most challenging factor for me. I think this one key ingredient is like the force that multiplies the power of all other resources. I say that because I have so much available to me. The money to hire a tutor, dozens of free online resources, Lithuanian multimedia that I can read, listen, and watch, and a spouse that I can practice the language with. If I had that internal drive and motivation, then I know I would be making more use of all of these resources. However, if I am to be completely honest with you, my viewers, I have to admit that I would rather be doing the work that is part of my freelance job, or I could be editing YouTube videos for this channel, and I could even procrastinate on my Lithuanian homework by doing the dishes and doing the laundry. I think motivation, or lack of motivation, is what really makes it all an uphill battle. With this lack of motivation, my mind goes to ways of trying to make learning Lithuanian a little more fun or entertaining. Thanks to some of the people commenting on previous videos, I downloaded the Ling app and tried out their Lithuanian language sampler. It is quite similar to Duolingo, and I liked it so much that I spent money to access more advanced lessons. The interactive nature of it makes it a little more fun, and I can access it while I'm riding the bus or waiting for an appointment. Even with this app, I know it's not a replacement for an actual tutor or lessons. Especially after my lessons with Antanas, I realized that there are so many little things to learn about Lithuanian grammar and structure, stuff that isn't easily explained in a game-style app. Ling has definitely been great for building vocabulary, but I feel like it's actual lesson time that helps with an understanding of how the language works. Okay, wait, a quick side note here. You know what I think might be a really cool way of learning Lithuanian? Like having activity-based meetup lessons. So I'm thinking, one day you go hiking and learn nature-related words and verbs like to hike or to be lost or to discover. And then another lesson could be done in a kitchen where you make a dish while learning Lithuanian words for all the ingredients, and then verbs like to cook, to fry, to burn, to eat. I don't know, what do you think? Am I onto something, or is it just a little too crazy? As for my progress in the Lithuanian language, here are 2 of my big realizations. Number 1, Lithuanian pronunciation is more or less consistent, but the emphasis and stressing of syllables is a huge challenge.
It's assess the window, not ass is the window. You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
There are no marks or special accents to indicate which syllable should be stressed. And so the only solution is to listen and memorize. One memorable example is conjugating the verb rashiti, which means to write. I write is aš rašau, while he writes is jis rašo. From an English speaker's perspective, a U and O can mean the same sound. And in a sense, these Lithuanian words do have a similar sound. But the bigger difference is which syllable is stressed. And there's really no way to know unless you're told.
Je m'appelle Claude.
Je t'appelle Blue.
It's not quite what I'm saying.
Really? Sounds exactly the same to me.
The other realization is just how many endings each word can have. Now, I discussed this a little in a previous video, so check that out. But when it comes to intentional learning and trying, all of these endings can be another demotivating and discouraging factor. Referring back to part 1 of my Lithuanian language journey video, I mentioned that memorization and recollection and quick recall were challenges. While I feel like I've learned a lot in the past month, I often find myself tongue-tied and unable to recall a certain verb on the spot, even though I know that I've learned it from my lessons. I know this ability to recall words will come with repetition and practice. So I guess if I'm not motivated to practice and review, then I can't complain too much. I can share one kind of success story though. I went to the fabric store to pick up something for my wife, and the item was behind a counter, and so I had to speak to a human to get what I wanted. When it was my turn, I said to the woman, Aš mokosi lietuvių kalbą, bet aš norėčiau 10 metrai, and then I pointed to the band of ribbon that I needed, and then specifying that it was the 15 mm trispalva. I don't know how much of that I butchered, but she said something complimentary about my attempt at Lithuanian, and that made me feel good. I think that, 1, it's good to put yourself in situations where you're forced to speak Lithuanian, and 2, it's okay to be wrong and imperfect and create those horribly awkward moments. After all, it's that struggle that makes it memorable, and if all else fails, you can't hit the eject button and ask, "Ar jūs kalbite angliškai?" Or you can pull out a smartphone and use a translate app. So yeah, now that my 5 lessons with Antanas are over, you might be asking, what's next? Well, I have some travels coming up, which will keep me quite busy, and so I told Antanas that I would seek him out once I'm ready to resume. I really appreciated my time with Antanas, and I do think having a professional tutor offers good value in creating a solid foundation. His lessons were well structured, and it was clear that he had a solid method and path of progression. This ensured that no time was wasted during our sessions.
Look at mouth. Ke,
Ke,
ba,
ba,
pe,
pi,
bape,
babi,
kebapi,
kebabi,
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 kebabi.
kebabi.
Radio.
I also found that Antanas was really quick to respond to any emails or inquiries, and that's something I really appreciate in any kind of business or service. But with all of this in mind, I wanted to get the view of Antanas and get him to share his honest opinion about his experience of having me as a student. So I know I could have done better, but this request of him for feedback was more so that I could share my level of progress with all of you watching and following along. So here's what Antanas had to say.
I would describe you as my average student who is right in the middle. And at the beginning, I saw that it was very easy for you to understand Lithuanian and to use new forms and new concepts. But as the amount of information increased, you were a bit overwhelmed, which is very normal in language learning. Usually, native English speakers have difficulties with Lithuanian, and when they are learning Lithuanian as their first foreign language, it's like being hit by the train, right? Because Lithuanian has different grammar, different concepts, so it's very hard for English speakers to learn, and as well for teachers to teach it. About good experiences or good students, I had one girl from Bulgaria who just wanted to learn Lithuanian for her own pleasure because she was interested in Baltic languages, and she was very, very quick to learn Lithuanian. Maybe after, I would say, 4 or 5 months, we were already chatting in Lithuanian, but she did most of the job on her own, watching YouTube, reading some blogs, I believe, and writing diary about her own daily activities and so on. And also she had the list of Lithuanian verbs and she worked with that. But I would say it was like a phenomenal student. Yeah, about motivation, I would say that lots of language learners rely too much on motivation, and motivation comes and goes, but I would suggest to just build strong learning habits and keep them regardless what happens in your life. Just take 10, 15, 20 minutes every day and dedicate them to Lithuanian learning, and with the time it will accumulate and you will see that you have made lots of progress. So basically, habits over motivation.
So again, I'm really, really grateful to have Antanas as a tutor, and I would recommend him if you're looking for a good Lithuanian language teacher. I'm imagining the part 3 video of my Lithuanian language journey will be quite different than this episode. I'll probably share the progress I made with this Ling app, and I also hope that I'll have some interesting or amusing Lithuanian language interactions to share with you that will demonstrate my progress, or maybe lack of progress. And so that's it for another Lithuania Explained video. I'm really grateful to all of you for watching, and extra thankful for all the comments of encouragement. You guys, seriously, are the best. And so that's it for today. I'll see you next time.